We want to get people all excited about our goals and dreams and everything else. But guess what? We ain't willing to do none of the work. What's up? How you doing? Welcome back to A Moment in Time with yours truly, Aaron Thomason. Now remember, this is the moment and this is the time where I let you in my business, so I need you to be gentle. All right, this edition, I want us to reflect on a video I did a little while ago, a moment of clarity. But this particular clip centers around the question, are you serious? Because that's the question we got to ask to ourselves. And sometimes we look at other people like, are you serious? If you don't cut it out, I don't believe you. And so what I wanted to kind of push people to think through is how to determine if you're serious and if the person you're talking to is serious. So let's go ahead and check out the clip and I'll come back and tell you a couple of stories. All you got to do is ask yourself the question, am I serious? And if I'm serious, are my actions lining up with my words? Hey, here we go, right? Let's kind of break this down. I'm actually excited to kind of talk through this a little bit. So I got two stories. I got one story about high school Aaron. Yep, the things that I learned young. So being in Detroit, we are always about being able to look at dudes with the side eye when we knew they wasn't for real, right? And so I was one of them dudes in the moment, went to a high school, and there was a moment where one of my teammates said some real slick about my mom, and I wanted to get into a fight. Now, I was really trying to rip his head off at the time, but, here's what I did. That's why I want to bring the story up. So after we were off this basketball trip, I decided to come back and tell my friends, who really love my mom, and my cousin who loved my mom, who was definitely more gangster than Jesus, because I knew by telling them the story that old boy was talking bad about moms, that they were going to feel some type of way and kind of come to defend her honor. And I was going, get some of that energy too, right? So we're in the lunchroom. We all normally sat together, and everybody was like, yo, man, you can't sit here. And so it got into a physical altercation, not necessarily a fight, like no punches were thrown, physical altercation. And as everybody is now getting up, where they're fighting for my mom's honor, they're fighting because I told them the story. In essence, I put the battery in their back. What happens now is that I decide to jump up when it's safe. Yeah, because they done all the work, they done everything. Like, yeah, man, you lucky they got you, man. You lucky they in front of you, man. I told you, da-da-da-da. And so I won't be cussing and bleep, bleep, bleep. I'm doing all this craziness. It was a bunch of nonsense because I didn't want no parts of that altercation, right? That's one. Second story I want to tell you, and I'll wrap this all up here in a second. Second story is tell you is about a few years back. I was doing some work, and as I was at this conference doing some work, young lady walked up to me and began to introduce herself and got to running through all of her, her resume and everything else. Because for some reason, when you dress nice and you're my height, people think you can help them get a job, right? And so she came up to me and, I liked her approach. It was bold. And I said, something, let me see if I can help you out. And so actually I was standing with one of my partners at the time. And so me and my guy said, hey, let's see if we can help her out. So I get a lot of people that do that. So I actually put her through kind of a process, right? And I want to see if she would take the next step in the process, so it would determine if she was serious. I want to see if the words she was talking lined up with the actions that we were going to display. And as she went through every part of the process, boom, she got through it. We invested more time, ultimately helped her out. And her first year, from what I hear, was an amazing year, which now it makes me feel good because she was worthy of me and my partner's investment. All right, so let's walk through why do I tell you this story. First story, 15-year-old Aaron, talking real reckless, acting real tough, getting other people to jump in front of the danger to do the work for him. He wasn't serious. He wasn't serious at all. And he knew he wasn't serious because he knew the other people would protect him, and he knew how to do what? Use his mom to defend, as they would defend her honor, he would be able to stand behind them kind of like a barricade. But he wasn't serious. He didn't want that altercation. He didn't want none of that smoke. And I'm telling you, I remember what mindset I was in at 15. I didn't want that smoke. But I was talking like I wanted it. I was talking real bad like I wanted it. I was, saying all the stuff that made sense. Like I really wanted to be about that life. I wasn't. I wanted somebody else to do the work for me, and then I could benefit from the results. Somebody else to beat old boy up, and then I get a chance to benefit because it was my mom. See, a lot of us are fronting like that. Is that we want to get people all excited about our goals and dreams and everything else. But guess what? We ain't willing to do none of the work. So we want to, be able to be real excited and real motivating and real inspiring to see if we can get somebody to go do something that we are too scared to do ourselves. And 16-year-old Aaron, he was terrified. And some of you need to just be honest, is that you're not serious because you're not willing to conquer or overcome your fear. The second story is, I love this story because as that young lady took every step through the process that me and my friend had set up to see if she was serious, we then invested more into her at every step. After she completed the next step, we invested more. We saw she was serious. She completed the next step and the next step. All of a sudden, now we're pouring our heart, our energy into it because now we see that she's worthy of the energy and time, and we're stewarding our expertise because this is somebody, as the Bible says, don't cast your pearls before swine, because this is somebody that actually is actually worthy of us giving all that we got to them. That wouldn't, that's the contrary to that verse. This is a worthy investment. And so when I look at her, I want to compel some of you all, don't be frustrated because nobody's jumped on board to support you yet. And you want to say everybody's hating and, you can't count on black folks. You can't count on your friends. It's messed up how your people don't really support you. The question is, are you taking the step in which people can see that you're serious and then willing to invest in you because they've seen that you've done the work? Because guess what? My friends and my cousin were nut jobs for jumping in front of that foolishness and get ready to start that fight because I wasn't willing to do the work. But I was scared enough and tried to manipulate enough to get them to do it for me, and we all almost got kicked out of school, right? But then when you look at the other situation, that young lady was bold enough to step out by herself, alone to people that she did not know, because she understood that if I take this first step, maybe they'll honor it and I can take another step and I can take another step. And when I have gotten updates and heard about the things that this young lady has done in her career so far, award-winning, top-notch, looked at as an example of what good looks like. And that happens because she was willing to take a few steps and people matched her effort. People will be willing to match your effort, willing to invest in you as you go along if you're serious, if your actions line up with your words. So I want you to, don't be 15-year-old Aaron that's trying to manipulate to get somebody else to do all the work. Because guess what? When you do the manipulation and somebody else is doing all the work, either everybody rises together and the wind seems empty, or you're fooled around and gonna be disaster like that almost happened to me in school because I was manipulating. Be the young lady. Take some steps. Be bold. Take a risk. And I promise you, if you step out there by yourself, there's going to be somebody that's inspired by your example that wants to either meet you to say we can do this together or invest in you. And so you invest in you to make sure you get to your destiny. I'm excited about hearing which one of these people you want to be, but you want to act which one of them you are or which one you want to be. But the question is, are you serious? Listen, I appreciate you stopping and taking a moment to be gentle in my business while we talk through a moment in time. So do me a favor. In the comments, let me know. Which one are you? Are you 15-year-old Aaron that's trying to manipulate a little bit? Or are you the young lady who's willing to be bold, take some steps, and wait for other people on her road in pursuit to invest into her to help her get to her destination? I'm super excited to hear the stories. I'm glad you stopped by a moment in time again with yours truly, Aaron Thomason. Remember this. Just because you're striving to get better doesn't mean that you weren't already good. And until next time, I'll see you then.